Well, ahoy, matey. We're off to the seas we are today because I'm Ryan, the game show guy, and we're trying ourselves something new. This isn't a game show. This isn't even a board game. Is it a board game? I guess so. It's a classic childhood game that I think you may not think about it. Would you just think like, really? Oh, this kind of game you can play in the classroom? But just you wait. I think it's a perfect fit. I hope you like it, folks. We're playing Battleship. You sank my battleship. Hey, everybody. Welcome. It's Ryan, the game show guy. Thanks for checking this thing out. Thanks, by the way, for taking a risk on this one. Let me just preface it with this here. Battleship, not for the faint of heart. Battleship is not the most simple of my games. I don't want to frighten you away from this because I played this at the end of the year with my students as our sort of final review for the entire year. I had a great time. There's a fair amount of things that go into this thing. I have spent a long time really developing this one over many months, putting this thing together. And I think it is, personally, I feel like it's a rich game that's got a lot for the students, and I think a lot of fun as well too. Some of the things to take aware of in the beginning of this isn't really. This is different from some games, is that it's not really driven by the screen in the front. This is also a game which is we're going to be using paper and a pen kind of a thing. This is also a game in which that you're not going to have one winner or even one team winning. We're going to have multiple winners in this thing. So I have a bunch of other videos that if you may have seen on the YouTube channel, which is tips. One of the tips that I have out there is what do you give away to the winners? So this particular game, the way that I envision this is that you're probably going to have a third of your class be the winners. And so this is something you want to be able to have on hand. So when in doubt, my favorite, like if you watch the prize video, I just like the candy option. So about a third of them is roughly kind of what you're thinking. So if I got a class of about 30 or so, you're thinking about 10 or so prizes that you're going to give away on this kind of thing. So, all right, let's jump into this thing. And let me just tell you the premise of this thing. The premise of this game came from these things. Everybody's got them. Every school. You got the Chromebook revolution we are in the middle of. And I started to think about the Chromebook and the shape of it. Because if you look at the Chromebook and then you take a look at here at the classic Battleship board or clamshell kind of contraption or whatever that is, they kind of look similar. And so Battleship has been a popular game for within schools for a long time. Math teachers have used it, talking about plotting and coordinates and that kind of stuff. There's tons of opportunities that you can see for Battleship that are out there. Mine's different. Mine is my traditional, like virtually all of my games, a traditional question and answer review game, in which that I ask questions. Those questions, if you answer them correctly, then help benefit you in the game that we're playing. And this is another example of this one. And such. So I'm keeping this in mind. Basically, we're going to turn the Chromebook into a Battleship board. And so on the Battleship board, I have an offensive and defensive. I have where I'm shooting and where my ships are located on the top and the bottom. The only difference here is that we only have the top to be able to deal with. The bottom is just our keyboard. So I can't have two separate ones. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to take the screen and divide them up into the clamshell piece. You're going to have an upper grid and a lower grid. So I'm getting a bit ahead of myself. So let me jump into this thing. All right. Like all my games, we got sights, we got sounds. Check out this one. Let's jump into and see what Battleship looks and sounds like. Oh, we got a launch, folks, and you do the welcome to Battleship. Oh, there it is. Got a little sonar effect in there. 5th grade science edition or whatever you ultimately want to be able to put on there. And now let's jump into this thing here. So first off, the kind of questions that you have, it isn't a set number. I think somewhere around 20, 30 is a good number. 30 is a good number to be able to have. I played this, like I said, as my finale. I had 40 questions, didn't even remotely get to that. I think 30 would be a good amount. And so like, here's another thing too, if you need some general trivia questions, I got another tip video and about that one, but there's some general questions that you can be able to use. All right. So like I mentioned in the beginning, this is a little bit different. We're not doing, I normally almost always say, I like 3 teams. I like 3 teams. I divide a class into 3 teams. We're not doing 3 teams this time. We're doing pairs. So basically I'm going to be on my Chromebook playing against you on your Chromebook, and we're going to battle back and forth. But to maybe make it a little bit more fun, I want a partner. So we are going to have teamed up, me and my partner, great, are going to go against another pair. Okay. Here's the only thing that you need to have is everybody's got to be paired up. The entire class has to be in these head-to-head matchups. So you may be like left over with one. You're like, okay, you guys are a team of 3 then. Okay. Or you're just a team of 1 or something like that. But basically you're going to need to be able to have these everybody paired off. And so if you're walking around with, a couple people who don't match up, you got to just fudge the numbers a little bit. So everybody will be playing against each other. Second thing now is that you're going to have to be able to move the room around, because this is going to be, my screen is going to be where my Battleship boards are, and I don't want you to see where I'm placing them. So we can't be sitting at an angle to each other. We got to be face to face. Me and my partner are going to be over here, and you're over there. You're not looking at my stuff, are you? We could be quiet or whatever. You want to be able to be a little bit flexible, because they're going to want to be able to pull back a little bit and go, let's go and do some whispering and some pointing. And that's why I'm saying we're gonna talk about the paper a little bit later. So they may even want to be able to have some notes for themselves. And so one person can write like, put it on B4, like, okay, good, right there. So they can communicate a little bit. Okay. So you're going to get all these pairs facing off with one another. And then once that's done, you're also going to need to be able to have this, which is they got to have the Battleship on their Chromebook. So keeping this in mind is that there's 2, unlike all my games, there's 2 separate documents. There is this that you're looking at right now where the questions are going to be. This is what you will display on the screen. And this is basically questions and the answers and the directions and that sort of stuff. What they're going to have on their screen is what you see right here. This is called my Battleship board for students. This is the upper and lower, all done on one screen. I have these, in Battleship, you have 5 different ships: the carrier, the cruiser, the battleship, the sub, and the destroyer. This is a force copy document, which means every team or pair is only going to have one of these. Okay. So everybody needs to have their own, not everybody, but every pair or whatever is going to have their own. So on every Chromebook, they're going to have their own separate version of this. Once they get this, you're going to tell them to look everybody at the lower grid, the one in white that is on the right-hand side. And it says in the bottom, place your 5 ships on this grid. So what they're going to do then is drag these ships over into these spots. Okay. And you can see there's a little ghost image with some numbers. I'm going to explain that in a second. But basically, they're going to put them here, and then the teammates are going to talk about where they want to be able to put them. So they need to be able to put them on the squares themselves. Don't have it be like this here. Move that one out of the way. This one, when it's just on a bunch of lines, tell them it needs to be directly on a square. And if you notice, these are shapes that I built in Google Slides. It can be rotated. So there's only 2 ways they can do this: horizontal or vertical. Do not tell them to get all crazy and try to do like, oh, I got a little diagonal. No, there's no diagonal. Okay. It is horizontal and vertical. They're going to start dropping these in all of their spaces. And this is the first part of the game. They're just basically setting up their boards, kind of a thing. So you're going to give them a few moments in which to be able to do that. Okay. Side note, by the way, on the next slide here, this is ultimately sort of what the head-to-head should sort of look like. Although that there's only one person that will be on the Chromebook, the piece of paper and the writing utensil is the other thing. So basically it says everyone's going to have a role to be able to play here. Okay. So the partners will be set up, got their things all squared away, have them get their board set up. It should look something remotely like that. If for Nobody knows the game YouTube, and that could be a possibility. It's not YouTube, sorry. If people don't know the game Battleship but haven't played it, you can give them this tutorial. You may want to send it to them ahead, like, hey, everybody, we're going to be playing Battleship. Put that on your Google Classroom or your learning management system and be able to get that out if they want to be able to see that, or just show it ahead of time. Okay, so let me show you what the end should kind of look like. This is a great look here, in my opinion, to kind of explain everything. Little Bitmojis will help this out here. So once they have placed them, so I can see my ships have all been placed, we are watching the beginning of a game that's already happened here. So it says, let me walk you through how to do it. The upper grid is once we start shooting, we are, let me show you how shooting works, by the way. If you know you shoot and you hit or miss. So the red pegs in the upper up here are for hits, and the whites are for misses. I have put tons of these on there. They look like a little tray of them, but there's actually 100 of them on there. They're just layered or whatever. So basically, as the kids be able to, if they land on something or if they miss, they're going to drag and put that over. Let me jump and show you on the student board what that looks like here. Okay, so here's the board, and you can see these. If I just grab them, they're shapes, and wherever I put them, they will just go. And as soon as I grab one, there's another one that's still in its place. And so they're just, like I said, there's about 100 of these things that they can just simply move and put and ultimately wherever they want to be able to go. Okay, now I'm going to jump back to the board here. Let me show you. Kids get a little confused about it, so I kind of show them this. I'm going to back up and go to slide number 7 here. Kind of explain the basic of Battleship, because where do you put the reds and the whites? The offense is on the top and the defense is on the bottom. So the offense, I need to know where all my hits and my misses go. So you can see here in the top one, there's only 3 hits and the rest of them are misses. I need to know so I don't call that number out again, A7, B4, whatever kind of a thing like that. On the bottom is you keeping track of the hits for your opponent. So you need to be able to let them know only where the hits are. So that's what this should ultimately look like. So if we go back to our digital version, you can kind of see this is similar. The red upper grid on the left is me being on offense. If I'm on offense, I have 6 hits and I got a fair amount of misses. And then I'm doing pretty well in this game because my opponent has only hit 3 times. Where are all his misses? I don't know. I don't need to keep track of his misses. I just need to let him know where he hits and lands. One of the things that you need to be responsible for is, let's say, so if he says out B4, I'm going to drag. Oh, can't do this because it's a screenshot. I would put one of these on B4. That 3 then would finish this. Finish that boat. That's my cruiser. And I would tell him, uh-oh, you sank. And he would say, which one did you sink? And I'm like, yeah, you sank my cruiser. Okay. And so that's ultimately how a ship will be sank. So going back to my offensive side over here, I could see that I have 2 3 in a row. I got a vertical 3 and a horizontal 3. My opponent has told me that I sank his battleship, and the battleship was the top one over there. So then what I need to do is keep track of which ones were sank. So I have these red X's. I'm just going to drag it over the battleship, knowing that one has been sank. The end of the game is this. Unlike the normal game, I have the entire class playing Battleship at the same time. Normally, it's head-to-head, and you play until somebody sinks all the ships. We're not going to do that. We are going to be able to play for either a certain amount of time. Hey, we're going to put 30 minutes on the clock and going to play. We're going to put 40 minutes on the clock. Or we're going to have a certain number of questions. Hey, everybody, we got 20 questions. We got 30 questions that we're going to do, kind of a thing. And then when we're done, you need to be able to add up. So we're basically the winners in all these head-to-head matches is who has the most hits, the most red hits. Then you add those up, and whoever gets the most win, except I got some bonuses. That's what these gold numbers are written over there. So for me, you could see if the game was over right now, I'd be winning 6-3. I have 6 hits. My opponent only has 3, but wait a second. Since I sank his battleship, I get a bonus 6. So I would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, plus another 3. Right now, if the game ended, I'm winning 9-3, kind of a thing. And congratulations, you won the game. And that's in essence what it is. There's no finale in this game. You'll just be able to play for this amount of time or a certain number of questions, attack, and use your shots and that kind of stuff. And that's the game, okay? There's a lot more to the slide deck, and you're like, well, what's the rest? Well, it's the ability to shoot. Normally in Battleship is I shoot, you shoot, I shoot, you shoot, I shoot, you shoot. We're going to do that, but They may not always be the same number because you get shots by answering questions. You got it? Well, let's do it. How do you answer questions? Basically, I'm going to give the students 5 questions. Question 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. However many that they got, I got 4. My opponent got 3. Great. I get 4 shots. He gets 3 shots, and we move on. That's it. Okay. And then we will shoot every 5. So I'm going to do 5 questions, add them up, and then back and forth. Fire, 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 fire. Boom, 5 more questions. 5 more questions. Every 5 questions is the launching phase, kind of a thing. All right. Well, now we need to answer questions. Well, folks, get out some paper. You got 2 different options here. You can just tell them to get out a piece of paper like I have here, the digital one, or the one that I have right in here in front. And I'm just going to be able to say, right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, fire. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, fire. And however many that you got. So if I got 15 on one side, I would draw a line and do another one so I could do about 30, whatever. And basically leave it blank here. On there you can see it says right answer. And so then I just need to be able to go when the questions are up. So it'll be question number 1, like, hey, who was the first president of the United States? And I'm going to write, I know this one, Washington. Once we've done them all, I'll go over the answer. Once we do question, then the teacher's going to go, the correct answer was Washington. It was? Nice. So then next to Washington, I'm going to put a big number 1. I got 1 attack for that one. If I didn't get it, I need to be able to put a 0. At the end of those 5 questions, I'm going to circle it up how many, like you can see in the screenshot here, however many of those that I'm going to shoot in this round. My first round, I got 3 shots. Then we're going to fire them off. The second round, I got 5 shots. Okay. If you don't want, folks, I have this document that you can see right here. You can download. I made a document that's at 40, just put it more than you'll probably ever want to be able to use if you want to be able to print these off so they don't have to use their own paper. So look at that. I provided everything for you. Look at this. Gotcha. All right. And then after those 5 questions is the firing round. So you'll see the little slide come up. It'll say fire, and then they go. You want to see what it looks like? All right. I think I already explained it right here. The reds and the whites and all that kind of stuff. Let me show you what it looks like in the game round. So here we go. We got question number 1. Question, you put up the question. The next slide will be the answer. Discuss that, and they write down if they got it right or they got it wrong on their paper. Of course, question 1. Question number, there's question number 2. Question number 3, the answer. Question number 4, and the answer. Question number, wait a second. Hold on, everybody. Got to add some fun to this thing. In every round, I caught a couple bonuses. So this one's called the Twin Turret. They're in different spots within the game, within the 5 questions. But for every 5 questions, I got a bonus or a multiplier, basically. So basically, if you get this one right, everybody, this is a twin turret. And you can see in the little screenshot, you're going to shoot 2 that will land right next to each other. They can be vertical, like this would be A2, B2. That's a 2 vertical shot. Or I could have said, I want an A1, A2 kind of a thing. Oh, so this is like a bonus double one. And then there's the question. And then there's your answer. So you theoretically could get more than 5 per round, okay, based on these ones. And then you can go, there's your answer for that one. And now it's time to fire. Wait, hold on. There's more? There's more? What's this? 1, 2, 3, 4. What the heck? There's some things. So what's going to happen here, folks? Because Battleship, the reason I did this is I'm giving the students extra shots. So the reason is that if it was just a question and a shot and a question and a shot, it would take forever. You need more shots because there's going to be a lot of misses in Battleship. So I wanted to be able to give you more extra shots. So for every round, you're going to get questions for the shots. You're going to get some bonuses within there, like the twin turret. And then I'm going to give you just 4 extra shots. So let me jump back to this thing here. On your piece of paper here, if I could go to this piece of paper here, on that first round, I got 3 shots. Then I'm going to say, before I've written that down, I'm going to say, hold on, everybody. Here comes the little, and the ship's going to come across, and the missiles are going to launch, and it changes. Sometimes it's between 2 to 5, I think. And then they're going to say, oh, I got 3, plus there was another one, so I got 7 shots this round, and then off you go. That's now the game. Okay, they're gonna earn some shots. You're gonna give them some free ones, and then they're gonna go. At that point, it's kind of fun because at that point, let me get over to the sound effect because I like it. So once I get to my bonus shots, let's see the bonus shots again. These all have been animated. Like I said, each time there's different numbers. Spent a lot of time on the sound effects and the animations and all that kind of stuff. So there's my 4. The kids are all waiting. After the first one, they know what's coming. Like, all right, 4. So they do their math. Like, we got 7 shots. And now everybody, guess what? Turn, and here we go. It's time for us to fire. And at that point, you just leave this up. You're going to leave fire up on the screen, and you just walk around. Because now it's going to take them a few minutes for them to be able to think about, where do you want to go? Let's go. A2. A2. It's a miss. All right, your turn. And they're going to go back and forth, back and forth. You just walk around. Remind them that it won't always be, it'll be probably pretty rare that they're going to have the same number of shots. Hey, me and my pair, we're going to have 7 shots. The other, our opponent against us is going to have 8. Okay, gotcha. So that means at the end, they'll go back and forth. Me, you, until the end. And I had 3 extra, so then I just do the 3 at the end. Are you following me on this? Once that's done, guess what? Round 2. Now we go 6 through 10. Question, answer. Question, answer, question, answer, question, answer, question. Wait a second. There's a triple turret? Oh, yeah. I got doubles. I got triples. And, if you want to look in round 3, I only got one of these, but let me just show you. We got a big boy. In the round 3, I got one of these. We got a warhead launch. Okay. This is going to be a plus shape. You're going to get 5. If you can get this question correctly. Make this question harder, if you know what I mean. For them to be able to get this one correctly, they get to do that plus shape. So make that a challenging question. They'll put that plus shape if they can get it. I only have one of these in the game, and it's on question number 12. Kind of thing. And let me put this in the mode so you can see all the questions kind of a thing. And it's just that back and forth, bonus shots, the double turrets, the triple turrets, and that sort of stuff. You just fill these in with questions. If you've run out, like I said on slide number 2, if you run out of questions, I got a bunch of just common trivia stuff that you can throw up on over there as well too. Kids, like I said, I've only done this once. I developed it in the spring. We did it as our end of the year wrap up, and the kids had a hoot. I did it in 4 different periods, so I've had the experience to do this. I had a fellow teacher of mine do it as well too, and he did it a little bit differently. He didn't want to do the 5 questions and then the shooting. He wanted to do question, shoot, question, shoot, question, shoot. And then he had the bonuses one in there. So feel free, if you want to get creative within this one, you can move. Basically, if you take that fire and you can just move it and just make copies and put it after every question if you wanted to do every one. He liked it that way. He says, we're the only 2 people who have played this game so far, and he liked it one way and I liked it in another. But yeah, there you go. There's tons of instructions, and I don't want this to intimidate you, like I said in the beginning and such, but it's a fun game. Spend some time playing with it. Like I would say, just don't just jump into this thing, put your questions in there, and you're kind of good to go, kind of a thing. So as usual, folks, I keep asking, particularly some of these newer games. Like I've been playing Jeopardy since 1997. I've been playing Battleship since 2013, a few months ago. So I got some new ones. I would love to be able to get some feedback back from you all. And you can leave it on YouTube, Teachers Pay Teachers, and or wherever else, kind of a thing, Instagram and all that sort of stuff. Hope you have fun, folks. This has been Battleship, and I am Ryan the Game Show Guy.